Banjo-Kazooie is a game that holds a special place for me. So full of color, super varied in its level settings, some of the catchiest music I've heard at a young age. Always surprising me and always delivering an incredibly fun time thanks to its feel and great design. It's pretty wild that a game so simple is still able to deliver such a high quality experience even after more than 20 years of its release. But what else can you add? Sometimes all you need is to take a winning formula, polish it as best as possible, and in a few years you'll have kids grow into adults who will still go crazy for your games. Huh, just like me. But you know, going in depth as to why I adore this game so much, and its sequel, is something I'd rather keep for some other time in the future. And there's more than one way to express your love for something. I really enjoy spending hours talking with friends about seemingly random video game stuff. The best Zelda dungeons, the hardest Pikmin bosses, the most memorable Diddy Kong racing tracks. And this video is the result of a conversation at midnight while eating maruchan. So let's delve down the line, remember the good times, and discuss what I think to be the 10 most fun jiggies to get in Banjo-Kazooie. I just really love that game. Treasure Trove Cove is a level I will always remember for 3 reasons. The first, because it ignited one of my first fears in video games. The second, because it debuts one of my favorite sound effects in any game. And the third reason is because I really enjoy getting the Jiggy at the top of the Lighthouse. What makes it so memorable for me is because you have many ways to get to it. You can take the easy road and fly there, or take the long road and climb the entire level. I like how the higher you get, the softer the music plays, and all you can hear is the crashing sea. And once you're on top, you can simply stop for a bit and see the entire world from up there. And also, I just always have tons of fun doing this. I have a problem. Mad Monster Mansion is so cool. The atmosphere, the spooky theme, the music, not to mention just how fun it is to traverse the entire place. This world is filled with so many great jiggies that it was hard choosing one. The ones with Banjo transform into a pumpkin really made me scratch my head as a child. The Ouija board was so unique and fun. But one that really stood out to me was the jiggy you get inside the church. And not so much for the challenge itself. It's honestly very easy to get as long as you follow the ghost hand around. But I always liked the process of getting inside. With a very strict time limit, it made me develop decent reflexes just to barely make it to the church. And once inside, I was greeted with one of my favorite settings in any game. An area where you're small and everything else is bigger. Looking back at it now, the place doesn't really have much to do outside of the jiggy and a grunty panel. But at least it left a long-lasting impression on me for so many years to earn a spot on this video. Banjo-Kazooie is no stranger to throwing curveballs at you. From playing Simon Says with turtles to matching titles, there's always something different to keep your attention. And one of my favorites finds itself inside a crocodile's nostril in Bubblegloop Swamp. This minigame is so good despite its simplicity. Eat more red... radishes? I always thought they were red radishes. So yeah, eat more of those than your opponent and you win. 3 rounds in total, with each one being more difficult and frantic than the last. And that's pretty much all I can say. This Jiggy is just a standard minigame. And I give it extra credit because it's really fun and because, even as an adult, it still offers a cool and fun challenge. Click Clock Wood blew me away when I first played it, since it used its main gimmick of changing the seasons to its full advantage, creating a lot of memorable jiggies in the game, with things like getting into a beehive in the summer, helping the beaver open a path into his house, or growing a giant plant. But the winner this time is the one you get by cycling through all the 4 seasons to help a baby eagle grow into an adult. This one was so cool when I was younger. Seeing the little guy go from this to that, it made me jump with joy because I made it happen. I hatched the egg in spring, fed the baby through summer and autumn, and finally watched it fly away in winter. And consider, I was so young at the time I didn't know English, so I was forced to use my intuition to get this Jiggy. Not gonna lie, that actually made me feel smart. Where do you work out? Banjo-Kazooie. When I was a kid, I made it my mission to gather every Jiggy in the game. 7 words by far. They were challenging, but not impossible. But then comes an insurmountable wall. Rusty Bucket Bay. You know where this is going? I think we all can agree. This is the hardest word in Banjo-Kazooie. Oily water? Yeah, that is troublesome. But the machine room is the main culprit of this infamy. No other area in the game embodies the do-or-die feeling this place conveys, leaving you with next to no room for error, as one simple mistake can spell out doom, forcing the player to restart if they are going for 100% completion. And it gets better, because this place also stages the 2 hardest Jiggies in the game. And yes, I'm getting out 2 Jiggies in one shot. Getting to the back of the machine room, and the other that requires the player to press 2 switches and race against a timer to reach the ship's propellers. I'll always remember those Jiggies as some of the most difficult challenges I had to overcome at a young age. But you know what's ironic? Despite that experience, I genuinely enjoy Rusty Bucket Bay. Its main theme is my favorite song in the entire game. The setting is very original, and while the challenge itself was very imposing at first, it still felt damn good to conquer it. I love, and I will always have fun when I beat something that gave me a hard time, as long as it's not too bullshit. Luckily, these Jiggies weren't. I like them. If Rusty Bucket Bay is the hardest level to 100% in one shot, I will argue that the second hardest level to do that is Gobi's Valley. And how could it not? The place is filled with so many hazards and things that can drain your health. But honestly, I love the tension you feel all the time in this world. And nothing elevates that feeling better than the jig inside the pyramid's labyrinth. You begin with a warning from a mummy. I didn't know what he said at the time, but I was getting the impression that something bad was gonna happen. And man, did it happen! having only 60 seconds to escape from a labyrinth. This moment made me experience anxiety at a young age, trying so desperately to find the right way, added to the fact that there's an optional objective inside the pyramid. But the icing on the cake is the way in which the music starts so abruptly and starts to get faster the less time you have. You can put this song in any real life situation and it'll have the same effect.
Ay, es domingo.
But just like any event that puts you on the edge, once it finally ends and you get a moment to breathe, it leaves you thinking, hey, that was pretty fun. I'm a simple man. Give me holiday theme levels in video games and I will fucking love them.
¡Feliz Navidad!
Es mayo, güey.
Freezeezy Peak is no exception. This world has always been a joy for me. Probably the one I spent the most time on as a kid, purely because I liked it so much. And because I wasted more hours than I'm willing to admit trying to figure out how to get the ice key in the Walrus's cave. So, just like Rusty Bucket Bay, we are clearing 2 Jiggies in one section. Well, technically it's 3, but let's pretend it's only 2, just so I can stay faithful to the title of the video. So the first one is the Jiggy you get by racing against the polar bear. It's a very simple task, but let me explain. You have 2 races. In essence, they are the same, but the stipulations you have made them feel different. The first one has you competing in a walrus form. It's standard, but very fun, with its biggest challenge being that you're asked to be familiar with the level in order to have an easier time. The second race, however, pretty much requires that you have the running shoes to stand a chance. And that's not enough to win, because the high speed that you get with this item requires the player to bring out good reflexes and precision. And that's not an easy task with an N64 controller. And just like the machine room from Rusty Bucket Bay, there's no room for error. Fall in the water, you're done. Get hit by a snowball, try again. Not to mention, that polar bear is even faster than the last time. All in all, I love this Jiggy. It's fast, it's challenging, I couldn't ask for more. The second Jiggy of the level is none other than the one inside the Christmas tree. It was so memorable because getting it is an entire process, and all the steps were equally fun. Having to defend the Twinklies from getting eaten, pressing the button to light up the tree, having to fly 3 times through the star on top, and finally climbing the tree to get the Jiggy. It was so great to me because it made me feel there was true progress. By giving it some thought and experimentation, I was able to conquer this cute challenge. I think 90% of us can openly say that meeting Clanker for the first time is one of the most terrifying things we experienced in our childhoods. Can we blame ourselves for that? He's such a bizarre looking mechanical shark with open wounds all over his body. Made even worse by the fact that his first encounter makes you unable to move. For me, this particular part was even worse, because remember, back then, I didn't know English, so there was no way for me to find out if he was a friend or an enemy. I wasn't planning to fuck around and find out. But eventually, I gathered the courage to enter his lair, get close to him, realize he's actually friendly, and use my instincts to figure out that you can actually free him. But that brought another fear I had to get over. Drowning. It wasn't an easy task, but once I managed to turn the key 3 times and see that Jiggy appear on his back, I felt so powerful. More than just being fun in a different way, Clanker's Jiggy was one I didn't even have to think twice to put on this video, because it pit me against fears I had as a child and forced me to overcome them. If that isn't memorable, I don't know what it is.
So, is there a particular Jiggy you think I missed? Be sure to tell me in the comments, cause there's definitely more than 10 fun ones to get in the game.
Banjo-Kazooie means a lot to me. Even with the nostalgia googles off, I genuinely believe it is a gold standard for 3D platformers. And for me, it's something more than that. As you saw in the video, a lot of the experiences I shared are things I lived in my childhood. I felt so many emotions, overcome many challenges, and had a ton of fun. And it was all thanks to Banjo-Kazooie. This game is one of many that helped me to shape my love for video games at a young age.
Also, I wanna ask you, did you enjoy this video? I'm only asking because a friend of mine told me that if I ever find myself dry on ideas for future videos, I shall simply make a list on things I like, obviously with the same love and effort I always give. I could really use that feedback to plan better future videos and not keep you waiting for too long. Also, if you have any ideas for things you would like to see in future videos, I'll be happy to read them too. So anyway, thank you all for watching, take care, and have a good day! Or night, whatever time it is for you.